the UK and says, trans milk as good as real thing. Absolute cuckoo for cuckoo puffs, land, and so much more. Now, the big deep dive, and I'm going to drill into all this in a moment, that we'll be doing in the second and third hour today, is I'm having a bunch of embalmers and undertakers, funeral home operators, come on. And I have 3 stacks of studies and science and J&J and AstraZeneca and Pfizer and Moderna admitting their injections cause these synthetic giant blood clots, these big rubbery, horrible, tuberous things. And we'll be going over all that, but there's nothing like going directly to the source. Look at it. If you're watching on TV, this is a giant clot taken out of a deceased man, out of his carotid artery in the throat, never before seen. And it's not a normal clot that's red. It's made of basically other parts of the blood. It's synthetic. Richard Hirschman will be joining us, funeral director and embalmer. And then we have several other embalmers and funeral directors and undertakers coming on to tell you their stories. And they said it was like a light switch being flipped on. As soon as the shot started in January 2021, within weeks, their businesses were booming. And then they would go in to drain the blood and put in the embalming fluid, the formaldehyde. So, you know, when you have an open casket in 3 or 4 days, your family can come look at you and you're all done up with your makeup and your suit and everything. Everybody can say bye. It's nice closure.
Little Dr. Fuker has hatched a plan to turn everyone into a gay frog by injecting you with an mRNA.
They'd never seen these. Other clots sometimes were small and red, but it was rare to see them. And usually from the death certificate that they died of blood clots. But just suddenly it was just all these big white rubbery worm-like things. And it gets worse. Their funeral homes are filled with babies. Because many of the women have miscarriages. But many of the women go ahead and have the baby. And then a few months later, the baby dies of a heart attack. And so a lot of times they'll order an autopsy or baby will be sent for embalming, and baby's full of these tentacles. And you know, the Pentagon, that's who developed the shots with Bill Gates and tested it all out under Obama, who ran the directive with Fauci. They tested all this on rodents, and that's exactly what they found in the studies at the University of Texas, Galveston, and University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I've shown you New Scientist headlines before COVID about this. And UT said this should never be tested on humans. It cut the life expectancy of mice and rats in half. And guess how they died? Giant blood clots.
Say hello.
Oh, and the shots attacked the testicles and ovaries of the mice and rats.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this was all developed as a weapon. And the so-called virus does create a little bit of this in the body. But in all the studies, it is the shots that then order your body to create the spike protein in mass. And then it just begins clotting and clotting and clotting. And then wherever it lodges in the body, both the spike protein and the nanolipid